All right. If you're watching this video in class on Thursday, February 10th, it means that I wasn't able to come back to school after my daughter's doctor visit, and so I'm hoping you're not watching this during that time. Anyway, so you had 5 questions to do last night. I'm going to work through all of those, and then you'll get to work on worksheet 2. And that'll be due on Friday. If I'm not there all day on Thursday, I should be back on Friday, but we'll see. So number 1, here was the table. So the first thing we're going to do is find change of x. So that's plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. Oops, sorry, that was out of camera. And then we're going to find change in y. That's minus 1, minus 1, minus 1, minus 1. So if I try to find the rate of change in y over change in x, I get negative 1 over 1, negative 1 over 1, negative 1 over 1, negative 1 over 1. So I have the same thing every time, aka it's constant. So that means this one is linear because there is a constant rate of change. And that also means I need to find the equation. So I need to know m and I need to know b. Well, m is negative 1 over 1 or just negative 1. And then in order to find b, I'm going to use slope-intercept form. I'm going to pick the point 4, 4. That way I can't substitute wrong that way. So I have 4 equals negative 1 times 4 plus b. 4 equals negative 4 plus b. Add 4 to both sides, and b is 8. So I now know that b is 8. So if m is negative 1 and b is 8, that means I get y equals negative 1x plus 8. I don't like that because I like to simplify negative 1 times x, which is just negative x plus 8. Both answers are correct. I would argue that the one that I box in is the better of the 2 correct answers because it's more simplified. So there you go. It's linear. It has a slope of negative 1, a y-intercept of 8, which makes the equation y equals negative x plus 8. For number 2, look at our change in x. So here we have plus 2, plus 2, plus 1, plus 1. Now I know it looks like there's not a pattern, but we don't look for a pattern, we look for a constant rate of change. So we kind of have to see what's going on down here in the change in y to determine whether or not it's linear. So that's negative 1, that's plus 4, that's plus 2, and that's plus 2. So we look at our rate of change. This one's negative 1 over 2. This one's 4 over 2, which is equal to 2. This one's 2 over 1, which is equal to 2. And the last one's 2 over 1, which is equal to 2. Let's see. So I didn't make a mistake there that I can find. So since this one is different, that means there is not a constant rate of change. So this would be nonlinear, because there is not a constant rate of change. And again, that can be referred to as a variable rate of change because the rate of change varied, it didn't stay the same. I guess I could finish my sentence there. Okay, so there's number 2, nonlinear because there is not a constant rate of change. All right, let's look at number 3 then. Let's see, my change in x, that's 1 smaller, so it's minus 1. So minus 1's across the top. My change in y, that's plus 3, plus 3, plus 3, plus 3. So this one's kind of a boring one. It's pretty obvious that 3 over negative 1, 3 over negative 1, 3 over negative 1, 3 over negative 1. So every time I have the same rate of change. So this one is linear because there is a constant rate of change. And that means I need to find the equation. So I need to figure out what m is, and I need to figure out what b is. I already know m. It's 3 over negative 1, which is just negative 3. That's a better number to use. And then to find b, I'll just start with slope-intercept form. Oh, what the heck. Let's use the point negative 2, 1. So for y, I'm going to put in 1. M is negative 3 and x is negative 2. So I get 1 equals positive 6 plus b. Subtract 6, and b is negative 5. So m and b, I get y equals negative 3x minus 5. So there's my equation for that table that is represented by a linear equation. All right, number 4. Change in x, we got plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. That's kind of boring. And for change in y, we also have plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, and plus 1. So if I look at the rate of change every time, it's literally 1 over 1 every time. That is a constant rate of change, so this one is also linear. It's a linear because there is a constant rate of change. So we got to find the equation, which means we need to know m and we need to know b. M is 1 over 1, or just 1. And then in order to find b, we're going to start with slope-intercept form. Heck, I don't have to do that at all, do I? Because I have an x value of 0 right there, which means I can use the shortcut. That means b is the y value there. So b is 0. I almost didn't see my own shortcut that I told you guys about. So if m is 1 and b is 0, that means we get y equals 1x plus 0. We're definitely not going to leave it like that. 1 times x is x, and x plus 0 is x. So it simplifies all the way down to y equals x, which should make a lot of sense, because if you look at y and x, aren't they equal every time? Negative 3, negative 3, negative 2, negative 2, 0, 0, 1, 1. Y is equal to x. That is what the equation is. All right, number 5. Change in x. Here we get plus 3, plus 3, plus 3, plus 3. Change in y, we get plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. So it looks like we didn't get any of the weird ones where you have to reduce the fraction before you figure out whether they were linear or not. Maybe that'll happen in tonight's homework. We had one like that in yesterday's notes. So we get 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. So again, this one is linear because there is a constant rate of change. I think I hear my baby waking up, so I gotta rush through this before I have a mess on my hands here. There is a 0 there, but as y is 0. So that does not help us as far as a shortcut. That's the x-intercept. X-intercept doesn't help us in slope-intercept form. So we need to know m and we need to know b. M is 1/3. That doesn't reduce or simplify. We get y equals mx plus b. Heck, I'll choose that 0.90 though, because it has a 0 in it. It'll at least be easy to work with. So y is 0, m is 1/3, x is 9. We get 0 equals 9 divided by 3 is 3. Subtract 3, and b is negative 3. So if m is 1/3 and b is -3. That gives me the equation y equals 1/3 x minus 3, or you can write that as y equals x over 3 minus 3. I'll box both of those in because I think they're equally as good. Doesn't matter which version you use. Okay, so that is the answers to the homework. I want you guys to work on worksheet 2 of the same stuff, and that'll be due on Friday. Hopefully I'll see you guys then. Bye.